morning, everyone. 10 o'clock, so I will call the York County Board of Commissioners meeting to order for February 5th, 2025. Great to see our veteran Fred Rudisil again to lead us in the pledge, and we always are glad to see Pastor Keith Farr, who's going to lead us in the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good and gracious God, we give you thanks this morning for bringing us together to conduct business on behalf of our community and the world around us. Bless the workers and their work this day. Remind us that all we have is from your benevolent hand, and help us to wisely and faithfully steward the resources you have entrusted to us for the good of all your people, especially those for whom daily living is a hardship and a struggle. May they be lifted up by our efforts, and may you be glorified. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 2 on the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 22nd, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting as submitted.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Item number 3, turn it over to our solicitor.
Now is the time and date fixed for a hearing on ordinance number 2025-01. The title of the proposed ordinance is an ordinance amending the York County Code, Chapter 325, Article 2, yearly fee to tax collectors. In summary, the purpose of this ordinance is to amend Chapter 325 of the York County Code, amending Article 325, Article 2, in order to modify the compensation payable to elected tax collectors within York County, with the exception of York City, commencing for the term beginning January 1, 2026, and for every January 1st thereafter, unless and until modified, and repealing the prior code and all ordinances, resolutions, and parts inconsistent or in conflict with the new ordinance. The ordinance has been properly advertised. I ask now if there is anyone here to testify or comment regarding the ordinance as advertised. For the record, I see and hear no response. As it appears that there is no testimony or offered statements, it is now appropriate for the board to take action on this ordinance, and I turn it back to the commissioners to add this to their vote.
Thank you. We'll move on to the chief clerk's report.
Good morning. I have nothing in particular to highlight on the agenda, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Munsky? Hearing none, I'll open it up to the public for any comment related to items on the agenda. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to new business.
Madam President, regarding the items on today's agenda for new business, there are 2 items listed on today's agenda related to the tax collectors. And I was made aware this morning of some of the language that's on the motions as presented may lack specificity. And that's items 23 and 25 on today's agenda. So not to place our treasurer on the spot, but just to clarify, if we were to pull these items and then consider them for a future meeting, will that disrupt the tax cycle, the collection cycle, or anything of that nature?
No.
Okay, fantastic. Well, with that in mind, I would like to make one motion to pull items 23 and 25 from this morning's agenda for future consideration.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of pulling item number 23 and 25 from the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? They are pulled from the agenda.
So that leads me to my next vote, and that is I would make a motion to approve items 1 through 29, noting the previous motion of removing 23 and 25 from today's agenda.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. I do want it noted for the minutes that we approved item number 15. Please let the minutes reflect that we are very grateful for Tim Tate's service on the Susquehanna Area Regional Authority Board. He served for quite some time and is moving on, and we're certainly happy to have James, but we do want to thank Tim for his service. Any other business to conduct? Hearing none, I'll open it up again for any public comment. Hearing and seeing none, if I can have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I'm just going to ask for a brief pause before we start salary board so I can have a conversation with our solicitor. Board to order.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 22nd, 2025 salary board meeting as submitted.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I will open it up for any public comment as it relates to items on the agenda. Hearing and seeing none, if we can move on to item number 4.
I'll make a motion to approve the positions, salaries, hours of work, and fringe benefits as provided by existing collective bargaining agreements or as set forth in the York County Employee Handbook or York County Policy Manual for the following departments and rail offices as stated below, with no additional benefits or concessions unless otherwise noted and as listed in the agenda.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I would like to note for the record that I'm going to abstain from this vote. There were a couple things that I did not have time to review. So in the spirit of not being able to do my due diligence, I'm going to abstain from voting. So please let the minutes show that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There are no executive sessions since our last meeting. I'll open it up once again for any public comment. Hearing and seeing none, if I could have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned. Everyone have a great day and be very careful this evening and tomorrow morning as the weather appears to going to be very inclement out there. So thank you.